Hi, I'm Jennifer from the Worcester branch of the Wayne County Public Library. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and since this past year has challenged all of us in terms of mental health, I thought I'd share some new books with you to help you understand and cope with anxiety and depression. Now, before I start, I just want to say that I'm not a healthcare professional, and I don't want to make you think that anything I say will provide a diagnosis or an appropriate treatment for you. These books are for information, but are no substitute for a professional consultation or therapy. In addition, if you find that you are struggling with your mental health and are in crisis, please know that you can get help through any of these free hotlines. First, there's the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255. There's also the National Alliance on Mental Illness Helpline at 1-800-950-6264. And here in Wayne and Holmes County, the United Way has put together a WHIRE Crisis Intervention Hotline at 330-264-9029. I will leave all of these numbers in the description below, and if you feel you are at a breaking point and don't have anyone you can turn to, please call one of these numbers and seek help. For a starting point to understanding what anxiety is or what depression is, symptoms, how they affect your behavior, and possible ways to manage them, you can begin with Anxiety for Dummies and the companion volume Depression for Dummies, both of which are very new titles. Now, don't let the For Dummies part of the title fool you into thinking that these books lack depth. They actually provide clear guidance to these mental health conditions, complete with anecdotes, tips, and useful suggestions. What you might find especially useful in these books are the chapters that specifically address your emotional state during a pandemic and how to cope with uncertainty. The books discuss different therapies, meditation, medication, and other ways to treat or manage your mental health, as well as other resources to explore. If you prefer to understand mental health from a background of faith, you might want to check out the book Depression, Anxiety, and Other Things We Don't Want to Talk About by Ryan Casey Waller, an author who describes himself as pastor, therapist, and co-sufferer. Waller explores mental health through a Christian lens, explaining what affects our mental health and how to improve it through therapy, medication, support groups, and other resources. He doesn't shy away from sharing his own experiences with depression and anxiety, and he talks frankly about alcoholism and suicidal ideation, among other things. And yes, he also discusses how faith interacts with mental health, which is something that doesn't generally show up in medical books, but is appearing more often now in faith-oriented books. If someone you love is dealing with depression and you want to learn how to understand and help them, you might want to check out Helping Others with Depression: Words to Say, Things to Do by Susan J. Noonan. While this also gives an excellent overview of the symptoms and treatments for depression, it also has some useful charts for tracking moods and symptoms. Over half the book covers things that families, friends, and caregivers will find helpful. Communication strategies, such as finding open and non-judgmental ways to listen to someone with depression, what warning signs to watch for, and chapters dedicated to dealing with depression in teens and in senior adults. This book is an excellent resource to help you provide a supportive environment for a loved one who is struggling. If you already know that you're dealing with anxiety or depression, and you're doing what works for you to manage the symptoms, but you want to read something by someone who understands what you're going through, I have 3 suggestions for you. The book The Long Night by Jessica Kantrowitz is what the author describes as a prayer for you, an offer of empathy. She draws on both personal experience and the wisdom of spiritual leaders past and present, and her gentle writing offers insight and understanding and comfort. This book is also available on Overdrive as an ebook. For those of you who might deal with seasonal difficulties with mental health, you might want to pick up Wintering, The Power of Rest and Retreat in Difficult Times by Catherine May. Again, the author draws on personal experience with difficult times and reveals how lessons from nature's rhythms helped remind her that sometimes allowing herself to rest in sadness and in other difficult emotions helped her live her way through them. You can also find this book on Overdrive in both ebook and e-audio format. Finally, if you find that a sense of humor helps you survive the dark days, you might try The Hilarious World of Depression by John Moe. While he shares his own story in this book, he also shares the absurd humor he finds in dealing with his mental health problems. Again, this is the kind of book that lets you know you're not alone in your struggles and helps you come to terms with the weird ways in which depression affects your outlook. This title can also be found on Overdrive in both ebook and e-audio format. I know that books can't solve every problem we face in life, but I hope that if you are trying to deal with mental health issues, you will find some good ideas, help, or comfort in these books to supplement whatever treatment works best for you. As always, stay safe, take care of yourself, and happy reading.